I'll be right back. We'll get started here in just a second. Welcome, welcome. There we are. Hello, Passionistas. Megan Tull here. Welcome. Happy Monday. It's Make It Happen Monday today. Super excited for an awesome upcoming week. And so today we have our Passionista Nation expert interview series, which I have been waiting for the last few days because I'm so excited to introduce you to one of my good friends, Deb Yager, who is amazing. You're going to absolutely love her. The minute we met, we knew we needed to be getting to know each other better, and we set up a coffee and we were talking and learning all kinds of amazing things about each other. But she has just such a incredible story, and has been through a lot of adversity and challenge and has come out the other side just in such a graceful, inspirational, beautiful way. So I can't wait for you to learn more about her. But we are going to be talking about a super exciting topic, which I know a lot of you have been asking about, which is the topic of selling. I know nobody likes to sell, that horrible word, sales, right? But this is something that we all need to do, whether you're selling yourself or your products or your services or your programs, your events, whatever it is. So this is an area that you really want to make sure you're comfortable and confident in, and Deb's going to help us do that. So she's going to teach you how to close with confidence and step into your power as a saleswoman, how to better qualify your prospects, increase your confidence, and ask for what you deserve, and help you close more sales. So Deb, so excited to have you here with us. Welcome to Passionista Nation.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here and talking about one of my favorite topics, because it used to be my least favorite topic in the world.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about Deb's background, and then I'm going to have her share a little bit about herself too. But you guys are going to be blown away with her level of expertise and her credentials, and she's just a rock star. So Deb Yager is a master coach. She's a certified trainer of neuro-linguistic programming. You all probably heard of NLP. She's a certified trainer of timeline therapy, trainer of hypnosis, a thought leader, an author, and a speaker. And Deb works with individuals and groups across multiple geographies and industry verticals in the field of NLP and other supporting modalities. So as a professional coach and trainer of master level NLP students, Deb uses her knowledge and personal experience to move her clients into action and create lasting change in their lives by acknowledging and removing self-limiting beliefs, replacing problems with desired results, and understanding and owning and executing the power to drive results in sales and their personal lives through authenticity and empowerment. I love that. She is most passionate about working with women like me to help them identify false limitations and move them towards desired life and business goals. So again, she is more than qualified here to talk about this topic of sales and help you kind of break through that yuckiness that you might feel when you think of selling, or any blocks or barriers you've created for yourself in this area. So Deb, before we dive into the goods and the juicy info you're going to be sharing, I would love for you to just share a little bit about your background and why you're so passionate about talking about this topic and about serving women in this way.
I would love to share. So back in 2009 or 2011, I was completely living in a life that wasn't mine. I was in a very unhealthy relationship, physically and emotionally and verbally abusive. I believed for over 16 years plus that I was a drug addict, alcoholic. I struggled with food addiction, body dysmorphia. I pretty much had everything going all in the wrong direction. And I was in a career that I felt like every single day a part of me was lost. I had to put on a mask and morph myself into this person that I knew that I wasn't. And so when I hit rock bottom for like the 50th time, I woke up and I realized if I didn't change something in my life, I wouldn't be around much longer. And so it shook me so deeply to the core that I started to search for something, even though I didn't believe anything else was possible at the time. But I started to search for something because I knew if I didn't change, I knew that my life wasn't going to be around. And so I love the topic of sales because I was tracing back the other day because I had another conversation, a deep level conversation about sales and what it's really brought to my life. And if I hadn't had a mentor, my two mentors that came into my life at that time and sold me into the idea and rolled me in the possibility of change and to start believing in myself and enrolled me into an NLP training, I wouldn't be here. And so that's why I feel so passionate about sales and people that are in the field of coaching or any business owner. It's just like, if you have something that you are here to bring to the world, it is your job to educate people and put the conversation out there and dance in the possibility of greatness. And because people don't know what they don't know, just like me, I was living in a life of a belief system that was of doubt, fear, stuck, scarcity, and I didn't know anything different because it was my reality, because my beliefs created my reality. Until somebody shined the light on me and said, you can do more. I believe in you. I got you. I see you. And here are the tools and steps to get out there. Yeah. I didn't know. And if they hadn't have sold me, they hard closed me too, by the way, which I love because I needed somebody to grab my hand and walk me across the finish line and help me make a decision to invest in myself and my life. So that's why I'm very passionate about sales, because I believe that I am where I am today. Even the next training I took, the master training, I wouldn't have met my husband if somebody didn't do the sales process in the training of the practitioner. So every training I was in, they did a beautiful sales pitch and I was like, I got to do it. I got to do the next level. And then the masters, they sold me in the idea of public speaking and becoming a teacher and a trainer. And at the time I didn't believe that I could do that. It was hard for me to have a one-on-one conversation with another human being, let alone standing up in front of an audience and teaching this stuff because my self-worth was still developing. So that's why get out there. If you have something to share with the world, get out there and learn how to educate people, because it's all about building relationships, building possibility, and helping them walk across the finish line to investing in themselves, their life, and their business.
I love that. And I truly believe, we all have these amazing gifts to share. Each and every one of you that are watching, you have a gift, and it's our responsibility to be of service and share those gifts, right? And I believe if you're not making that offer, which I know sometimes you get in your head about it, or you think it's about you, but if you're coming from that place of service and really wanting to offer a solution to someone's problem or challenge they're facing, if you don't make that offer, you're robbing them that opportunity of that solution, right? So I love what you were sharing, Deb, about that, it really made you accountable to move forward and take that next step, which was scary, but somebody believed in you and somebody was wanting to hold your hand and guide you in the right direction, and you were ready to make that leap. So now it ultimately led to where you are today, right? So, all right, well, that's, I thank you so much for sharing your story. And I know we all have challenges and struggles we've all been through, but it's like how we get through it and who we become on the other side of it. And it sounds like you've learned so much in your life, and now you can teach others. So when you're working with your clients, Deb, what would you say is the most common challenge that your coaching clients struggle with regarding their business?
I would say the overall big picture thing is us getting in our own way. And it's true for me, it's true for my husband, it's true from every single client, because as we grow, our container of belief systems don't necessarily match our goal. And so a lot of times we have limiting beliefs, we have doubts, maybe it's a strategy that's sabotaging, maybe it's a skill set somebody's lacking. A lot of times when it comes to with women in business, a lot of times it's boundaries, because which usually, in my experience, ties back to self-worth and who we think we are and what we can give us the permission to ask for and say no. Because a lot of times we will say yes to everything because unconsciously we're trying to keep the peace and we want to make everybody happy, and we're all in the nurturing space. And then taking that into business is not a place for that all the time. There are certain times that it is, and sometimes it's not. And I think a lot of times my own personal journey is with a lot of coaching clients I work through, that we don't necessarily know with boundaries what we want specifically and what we stand for and what we're not willing to put up with. And one of the hardest things is to say no. Yeah. Once you've said it, though, it's pretty easy. It's just that uncovering it and then actually saying for the first time and saying it with the volition and intention, sometimes that's really hard. Even no to ourselves, too, with our own time boundaries.
Yeah. So that's a really good point about the boundaries piece, but how do you set boundaries in the first place? Like, how do you know what to set your boundaries around? I want to get your perspective on that.
I believe we have boundaries in every area of life, just as we have goals and we have values, which are our most unconscious drivers. We also have belief systems. And so getting very clear on the 6 areas of life, or sometimes people have even more, of what specifically do you want? What do you stand for? What are you not willing to put up with? And what are you not willing to live without? And then you have, it's those invisible lines that you are going to be a guard of, and at the same time, be flexible too. It's that dance between being too rigid and also saying no and putting down your boundary. So it's a dance.
Yeah. So basically being clear on what your priorities are and then honoring and protecting.
Yes.
With those boundaries, right? So, now, when it comes to the area of selling in particular, how do those limiting beliefs that we often have about ourselves, how do those creep in when it comes time for asking for the sale or making an offer?
So a lot of times I see not wanting to bother people, the fear of having rejection. We also project our belief systems around what people can afford and not afford. I see that all the time. I've done it too. I'm like, oh, they don't have the money, or they don't see the value in it, and then they won't, because you believe that.
So true.
And there's so many times where like I put my filter, when I say filter, it's belief systems, past experiences, values. It's this like this lens, and I go into the situation believing that about somebody, and then I limit them. And then later on, I hear that they enrolled in some other program. I'm like, they didn't have the money. I just didn't believe in it. And, you know, like, honestly, if you don't believe in your clients, who will? So somebody else will.
That's a really good point. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's like we have to champion for our clients, right? We have to, I love what you said earlier about encouraging them to invest in themselves. Because when you're willing to invest in yourself, you're basically telling the world and universe that you're worth it, right? And so that is a huge gift we can give somebody. I mean, provided we have a valuable offer, right? And provided our offer is going to be a solution for what their challenge or problem is. I mean, that obviously has to be come first. But then if we give them that opportunity to take that next step, which is usually pretty scary, I mean, people don't want to part with their money, or it could be, you know, they're maybe not trusting that they're going to be able to get the results that they want to get or follow through, or people have all kinds of reasons why they don't say yes or move forward. But we have to give them that opportunity to say yes to themselves, to invest in themselves, because that's when everything can shift. I've seen so many cool things. I'd love to hear your perspective on when you have a client say yes and they invest in themselves, even though it was a big stretch for them, like all the cool things that really happen to them from that point forward, like how the universe opens up and maybe they get a new client the very next day, or like some awesome things start shifting for them. What can you share along those lines of what you've seen when people were willing to say yes to themselves and take that leap of faith and invest in more of a higher end type program that you offered?
Yes, I would like to share a little bit about the whole frame of what the mindset behind that is. Going into that is so important. I always, in my own self, when you're in the sales process, you want to act as if they're already your client and you're coaching them. I've adopted the belief and hat that I'm already a coach when I'm doing sales, because all of their limiting beliefs, all of their money stuff, all of their, scared of making the wrong decision, all of their stuff is going to come up right before they invest in themselves. Maybe they have a problem with investing in themselves and taking the money and actually spending money because of some unconscious, like you said, the self-worth thing, or maybe thinking that they can only spend money on their children or for the family. For all these beliefs come up, and it's not personal. You put on the coaching hat as if they're already a client, and every time they give an objection, you want to put on a curiosity hat. Woo! I'm excited to go deeper with you, because I believe part of the breakthrough happens, like you said, when they energetically invest financially, which means for the very first time, they're taking their time, their energy, and they're investing in themselves. And I believe that it happens at an unconscious, but as a universal cause and effect when that happens. On top of them signing a contract, it's highly symbolic. The unconscious mind is very symbolic. And like you said, I have seen magic happen just by somebody simply signing on the dotted line, investing in a deposit, or paying in full. I've seen people have clients immediately the next day. It's almost like there was a time warp that opened up this abundance in the universe, because it presupposes that they already are successful.
Yes.
It's at the quantum level, because they investing in themselves right now already changed the future.
I love that. And don't get us wrong, like there's no guarantee that you're going to get a new client the next day or these amazing things are going to happen. But what is going to happen 100% without a doubt is you are going to be more confident in, just the fact of that you believed in yourself enough to invest in yourself. And you're going to then take the necessary aligned action steps, to support that. And that is huge. What I wanted to ask you, more about the confidence aspect. So if somebody is wanting to become more confident around asking for the sale, what are some of the things that they can do to be able to put themselves in that position?
I always like to, before I get on a sales call or do some sort of presentation where I know that I'm going to do that, I like to get into a really powerful, confident state. For me, I like to put on some booty shaking music or something that I feel really in flow. Another NLP mind hack that you can do is remember a time where you felt really, really confident, and go back to that time over and over and over again to where you get into that state of confidence. So when you're going into it energetically, you feel congruent to the person and they'll sense that. Another thing that I like to do is imagine, see the movie play in my mind, that they have already said yes and they're super excited. Every time I get on a phone call, before I do that, I imagine the person picking up the phone wanting to talk to me. In fact, they're excited to hear my offer. And so I go into the sale, our bodies will respond based upon the pictures, the sounds, the feelings that we're holding in our space. And so you are 50 to 90% more likely to actually create and attract a scenario that will happen that way. And also know for yourself and belief system, it's having that edge that not everybody's a client, that in the sales process, you don't necessarily want everybody. So you want to come from a place that I hold the cards. I'm actually interviewing you to figure out, is this a good fit? And if it is a good fit, then I'm going to go into the close because I feel like it's a mutual agreement, versus going into it as a needy type of sensation in your body of like, I need clients. You don't need clients. They need you, and you want the right type of clients, because otherwise it's going to waste a lot of time.
Yeah. What are some of your key qualifying questions you ask to make sure that somebody is a good fit for you, or a qualifying?
I do the standard, some of the stuff that we do in the training. It's specific language patterns. What specifically do you want? What are your goals? Like, where do you want to see your life? If it's for business, where do you want to see your business 10 years, 5 years, 1 year from now? What's preventing you? What is the biggest frustration in your life right now? And all that stuff, if you really truly listen, you'll find all the gold nuggets that you can use to then lead them into how you're going to offer solutions to all those things. And if you find the true pain point, it will be easy to transition into the close.
Yeah, definitely. And as I mentioned earlier too, I think that in order to go into the sales conversation with confidence as well, it's really important to understand what you offer and the value behind what you're offering. And if you're part of that equation, like, what is the unique value that you're bringing? So understanding that aspect and truly believing 100% without a doubt that you can help them get from where they are to where they want to be, that belief in yourself and your product or program is going to show through as well through your confidence when you have that belief. What are your thoughts around that?
Absolutely. If you believe it to be true and you know that you can help that person, it's going to shine through. And sometimes it's even a good idea to have, maybe it's people that are starting out, they may not have this yet, though, testimonials and stories of other successful clients, because when those people are you start feeling that uneasy where they're going to back out, then you pepper in a couple of success stories, and that helps you get them back onto the finish line of actually making a decision to close.
I love that. That's huge, because we can talk all day long about how great our program or product is, but when somebody else can share their experience or positive experience, then they can kind of see themselves through that client. Like, oh, that person's just like me and they got results. So it kind of gives them that extra boost of confidence to move forward. So 100% agree with whether you want to call them case studies or testimonials. The minute you have your first client, you want to start asking for those testimonials. Video is even going to be the best that you could get. But if you can't get a video testimonial of somebody, at least, maybe ask for a picture and a blurb about their experience. And the more specific you can be, the better, right? Like with specific results, if they doubled their business, what does that look like? And instead of, just kind of a overall general view of their experience. So yeah, I 100% agree with that. So from day one, you guys want to start thinking about how you're going to gather those case studies of your raving fans and be able to share that. It's so true.
And when it comes to going in for the close, something that helped me is just knowing it. Again, it goes for me, it really, really broke me through a lot of my fears of going in as a place of curiosity and not taking people's behaviors around being closed or making a decision or the money stuff, taking it on as there's something wrong with me. Because I used to take it and, oh, there's something wrong with me. My product's not good enough. I'm not able to help them. And doing that pattern, it has nothing to do with you. It just means that a lot of times when they're bumping you means that you either didn't get to the actual need. Maybe you haven't built enough value about what's important to them, or maybe they're not really the right client, or maybe they just need to be leaned into a little. A lot of times people just kick and scream the whole entire process of sales. And so treating people, I mean, a lot of humans, and we respect everybody's model of the world, but a lot of people don't have a lot of resources. And so sometimes they'll act like adult children when it comes to making decisions. Mm-hmm. And coming from a place of just really coaching and mentoring and leadership, and understand that some of this stuff is going to happen, and to lean in and always go for the close. It doesn't mean if they don't close, that doesn't mean that that they won't later. It just means today is not the day. And I mean, there's some times where I do a sales call and it's a one and done and everything just came together. It's the divine timing where the person's ready, the finances are ready, and they're ready to make a decision. Usually they have a lot of pain in that moment and they're ready to fly. Though sometimes people, you get them where they're in the beginning of having their problem happen. And so they need to go through a little bit more pain before that they get moving. And some people, you want to build a relationship for over 6 months to a year. I have some people that are coming back after building relationship, and then I kind of wrote them off energetically. I'm like, oh, maybe they don't want it. I'll check back with them maybe every 6 months to a year. And now they've come back into my sphere and they're like, I'm ready. I've been thinking about you a lot and I'm ready. So it's just having patience and being graceful to yourself in this process. The best salespeople will even say it's very rare that you'll have a one and done, and always be in the mindset that it's going to happen. So don't beat yourself up or have an expectation hangover if it doesn't, and just be prepared to doing the follow-up game.
Yeah. And I mean, there's always a ratio and in terms of how many people you have to talk to get, how many closes. 50% is pretty standard. If you can get it to 30 or 20, then, you're considered a really good salesperson. So know that there has to be those no's, and it's okay. As Deb said, you don't want to work it with everybody. Trust me, in the beginning, when I felt like I needed to take on everybody because I had to make, pay the bills or whatever it was. And then you just look back like, oh my gosh, I knew. You see all those red flags all over the place, but you decide to do it anyway. And then you just wish you didn't. I know all of you have had those experiences. So if it's not a good fit, it's okay. And especially if you can decide to say no. But if they're saying no and it's just not a good fit for them, that's okay. But when Deb was talking about being curious, I love that word, because that is so, that's a graceful way to kind of keep the conversation going and keep asking questions and go deeper. Because what you were saying is not everybody is in the place to take action right away, but you can get them there by being curious, by asking those questions, right? So sometimes if they're throwing out objections, I like to look at it as a yes, but. like they want to do it, but they still aren't clear on this, or they're not sure about this. And it's just, you coming in as a coach or professional to be able to, clarify some things. So it becomes 100% yes, right? So what are your thoughts on being able to kind of walk them through those objections and get them, if they are the right fit for you and they are in a position that they are ready for your services? What does that look like?
Asking more questions. So a lot of times people say, I don't have the money. Okay. So what specifically, how much money do you have? I mean, like, what is it worth to you if we were to solve this problem? You can actually even do out the math with them of how much, usually if it's coaching or some sort of field like that, that's why they need you. If you think of it this way, if they don't have the money now, think about 6 months from now. They're going to be more broke because they didn't solve the problem. And it's same thing for the business. If they don't have the money now, that's the problem. That's why we're working together, because we're going to solve that problem.
Yeah.
The time thing is exactly the same too. That's exactly why. So you want to lean into that to really uncover what's behind it. Because usually there's something underneath it that they're not telling you, and it's just it's a put off. So you want to be that's putting on your investigation curiosity hat, like, ooh, so what's behind that? Like, let's dive into that a little deeper. So how can I help you solve that problem? And coming from a place of service, like you said, of how can we solve it together to where it's a win-win for both of us?
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, it could be just a flat out excuse, right? And then sometimes as a coach, we need to call them on their shit.
Yeah.
Right? And just make them accountable. Like, okay, this is what you said you want, but you're not willing to, take the necessary steps to get there. How serious are you about really wanting this, right? Mm-hmm. So calling them out on it, because yeah, it's often scary. They're going to get in their own head about it. But, if you ask them the questions and make it super clear, like, yeah, I need to do this, right? And know that you are going to be their partner and walk them through the process. Yeah, I love your perspective on it. And I hope you guys see that it is just being authentic, being genuine, solving problems, helping people overcome their challenges. So again, coming from that place of service, so I don't have a problem with the word selling. I love to sell just like you, Deb, but some people, just that term selling is not a favorable term, but just call it serving. And again, you got to get out of your head and into your heart, because our head is where our ego lies, and that's what's going to stop us thinking, oh, I'm too pushy, or, what if they don't like what I have, or whatever it is. It's not about you. It's about helping them, right? So you have to get out of your own way, as Deb said, and really share your gifts and have the courage to make that offer. So speaking of offer, Deb, I understand that you have a special free gift offer for our viewers. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it is a 30-minute deep dive coaching where I will help you uncover really what is blocking you around sales, or anything that you really want to cover in the context of sales or business. Mm-hmm. And we can get to the bottom of it, and then I'll give you a strategy to either let it go. My hope is that it will let go in the session. Otherwise, we can get a strategy to give you some clarity on it and move forward in the future.
Awesome.
And it's the NLP tools that I got, some hypnosis stuff. There's a timeline process that is unbelievably effective of rooting out those things very quickly.
Yeah, this girl's got all kinds of tools in her belt, right?
Yeah.
So many different ways that you can help people break through and get to the other side to be a more successful, confident salesperson. So this is a 30-minute consultation. And normally, I understand it's a $300 value. So you won't want to miss out on this. I'm posting the link for Deb's calendar right in the post, so you can just click on that and reserve your time with her. And then Deb, if somebody wants to learn more about you or connect with you on social media, where can they do that?
They can send a friend request to my Facebook page, which is Deb Yager, or we also have a, it's called a Yager Training Community. That's a company that we have, my husband and I, and we're doing lives, Facebook lives about NLP and business, and a lot of this stuff is what we do in our 3-day workshop training as well, which is applying NLP to business. And so we're constantly putting value content out there, answering questions, and we're just building a community of people that are like-minded, that are actively growing their business and wanting to live an extraordinary life.
I love that. And that's where we definitely have a lot in common, wanting to build each other up and give back and really provide amazing tools and strategies to help people be more successful in their personal lives and in their professional lives. So thank you so much for your generous offer. I hope all of you take advantage of that. And then Deb also offered, if anybody has a specific question that they want to post, that she'll jump into the group and answer that question. So if there's something like burning that you need to know right now, go ahead and post that. And Deb will jump on and get that answered for you. So I hope that today's interview with Deb was extremely beneficial in helping you really discover that sales isn't all that scary. It's just about, getting out of your own way and being of service to others and sharing your gifts and really being able to take somebody from where they are to where they want to be, and being their champion and their partner in success. So Deb, any final thoughts or words that you want to share with the ladies before we part ways today?
Just step in your power, ladies, and remember, it's all about education. And every time that you go out and you close somebody or not, it is a success because you're doing something that you don't normally do. And by doing that, you get stronger and stronger. And so it's a win-win no matter what.
I love that. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your sharing your gifts and being of service today. You are awesome, and I'm grateful to know you and honored to know you. And everybody have an amazing day. Get out there and be courageous. Take inspired action and go out there and share your gifts with the world. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.